The electronics are so predominant that people would really prefer that.
JB Webb with you live and in the Milk Bar with Jessica Pawli. Hey, welcome to the JB Webb Show. I, of course, am JB Webb, and as always, we interview people that are doing great things in Orlando, all across the country. This session brings us to the Milk Bar, and Jessica Pawli, long time. I'm going to call you an activist. You are a live music activist or something. I don't know. Hey, but welcome. How you doing? We're going to talk about you, and we're going to talk about all the cool stuff you've been doing for years here, and welcome to our humble little effort. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for including me. I'm honored.
Well, we got to share the microphone like we're in the 1920s, so no problem there. But you got a cool place here. We're sitting in the Milk Bar. You got some cool information about that, so we'll get into that in a minute or two. What I wanted to ask you was, you've been really prolific in Orlando for 10, 15 years now. Really, I think Southern Fried Sunday is the best example of what you've done, because before that you've done little kind of things, 1 year, 2 year, and they work together. You worked along with Joseph Martins, so you've been in the Orlando music scene. You're on the radio, you're on PRK, so you've been in the scene for a long time. You know a lot of the great musicians, and you make a lot of great things happen here, so
thank you.
You're quite welcome. But my big question is, when that first started out, was that your intention, or how did you kind of fall into this Orlando music maven spot, if I can call it that? I don't know. I'm just trying to be colorful. But give us some insight there. That'd be cool.
As anything that you fall into, I just sort of fell into it.
You just knew the right people?
Well, I think it's a matter of, knowing people that would give me an opportunity, and then also really doing all that I could with the opportunities I was given. I was always really into music, but not necessarily live music. Mm-hmm. I liked house music back in the rave days of Orlando. And I even threw a couple of raves and was into event production back then, or booking DJs, different club nights. But as that sort of faded and my interests started growing into other types of music, I actually went to school for radio broadcasting and worked at O-Rock 105.9.
Right.
And during my time there and getting to know different people and getting to know different people in the music scene around Orlando, I stumbled upon the opportunity to do this event. It was taking over an event that was a long-running event at the Copper Rocket Pub in Maitland. It was Bluegrass Sundays. It was the first Sunday of the month, every month. And that kind of faded and turned into Honky Tonk Sunday, and then the owner was going to stop doing it. And or maybe he did stop doing it for a while. I think I inquired as to why it wasn't happening anymore, and the answer that I got was that it just had gotten kind of stale and needed to be revived in some way. And I was like, well, let me revive it. I want to try to do it. But I quickly found out that by pigeonholing the honky tonk sound, that you weren't able to book as many styles of bands and as many bands. There's not that many quote unquote honky tonk bands in the Central Florida area. Right. So I thought, let's change the name up and expand it a bit to include all different kinds of Southern music. So thus Southern Fried Sunday was born.
Yeah, and it's an awesome product. It's an awesome experience. I know you always do something every year for charity, which is great. You always bring great acts into town, from across Florida. And like you said, you're reaching out into that rockabilly type of space and, the different sounds of Southern rock and such. So where, so this is probably about 6 or 7, 8 years ago?
8 and a half.
Like that? Okay. Mm-hmm. So from that point then you started getting, bands that were interested in doing it. Now it's a monthly thing still today, right?
Yes, it's a monthly music showcase. Features 3 to 5 bands a month. But yeah, it just sort of organically started to grow because I think at the time the Americana music scene was really growing in the Central Florida area and nationwide as well. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of touring bands looking for a good Sunday option, and Southern Fried Sunday is unique to a lot of bands touring in that there's a meal provided and everyone eats together and the crowd gets a chance to interact with the bands. And, you know, it really kind of has this community feel. There's something about breaking bread that really brings people together. So, and a lot of times, you know, you just get people that come out to Southern Fried Sunday because they want to come to Southern Fried Sunday. They're there for the music, but I think they would come, a lot of people, no matter who was playing each month.
Right.
So,
it's like a family, become like family,
yeah,
community.
Which is fantastic. So for touring bands, that's really great because it provides them with sort of this built-in crowd, and puts them in front of potentially a lot more people than they would on a typical Sunday gig. Those can be tough for touring acts.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hats off to you for doing that and for continuing that to grow. You're so welcome. And in a minute, let's talk a little about the upcoming Southern Fried Sunday.
Definitely.
July 20th is the big benefit for the mustard seed. But let's break over back into radio. You said you were on O-Rock sometime in the past, and then now you have great shifts on PRK, and it's awesome because you go flip you on and you're playing jazz and like people, you know, just real music you're not going to hear really anywhere. So I appreciate that. So that's number 2. Thank you for that. Because that's a great little gift whenever you're on. What are your regular shifts? What are your regular shifts?
Well, throughout the summer, I'm actually substituting for someone, so I've got a great time slot on Fridays throughout probably the middle of August. It's noon to 2 p.m. on Friday afternoons. And then I have a time slot Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m., and I like to kind of use that time slot as like my little Fat Tuesday, get your day started, play a bunch of like New Orleans funk and jazz and soul, and just kind of start your day in a really positive way. I think that music is good for that. Yeah,
it's great. You're what you bring to the table with, and I even heard you with BMF and Andrew Spear. One day you had them in there. I don't know if you were covering a shift or what happened that day, but I was like, wow, all these Orlando people, you're playing great music.
Yeah, we kind of took over the airwaves. That was the first one of my Friday shifts for the summer, and I started it off with a bang. We did a Michael Jackson tribute as the week of the anniversary of his death. So
yeah, okay, so that was a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So then, what about the other? Okay, so that's the radio piece. Now we're sitting in the Milk Bar. What can you tell me about that? You've got something cool going on here, and this Milk Bar could be kind of transforming into the Jessica Pawli show, or art and music. It's going to be awesome. What can you tell us about what you're doing here at the Milk Bar?
I've been given the opportunity to sort of do my thing that I do, which, aside from Southern Fried Sunday, has very much become supporting artists and musicians and local businesses by bringing entertainment to their business, whether it be at Maxine's on Shine and helping them with booking their weekly and nightly entertainment, or at the Smiling Bison, which they have a great stage and they offer music as well as phenomenal dining. So whether it be like booking music there, I've helped a lot of different spaces over the years to bring attention to them by bringing music to them, and therefore also bring attention and a place to play to the musicians. So I've been doing that for other businesses for a while, and now I've that I don't necessarily work at the business, and now I've got the opportunity to work here at the Milk Bar and manage the entertainment calendar and the promotions that we do, and rotating art and live music, and come up with a strategy of how I want to present this space culturally, and actually be able to work here and see the results and enjoy those results. So I'm excited to be given sort of a space to work from.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A home base.
Yeah, you definitely deserve it. And, everything you've done over the years and I'm sure, I saw you at, it was the Lennon show last year. And one moment I was like, hey, I'm JB Webb. And I kind of tried to introduce myself to you. And the next minute you're emptying a garbage can. And I'm like, what is going I'm like, wait, what just happened? But that is you. I mean, that's a good example. You do whatever needs to be done. And that's awesome. So you're a powerful force. As one person, you do a lot, and you've given a lot to our musical community and art community. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
Well-deserved opportunity here at the Milk Bar. You're so welcome. So let's talk about Southern Fried Sunday real quick. It's next Sunday. This will be out on Monday, so it's next Sunday.
This coming Sunday.
Yeah,
the 20th.
So give us a little bit of. There's over 20 bands. It's a benefit for the Mustard Seed. So give us a little color around that.
Since Southern Fried Sunday is a monthly event, the one that it happens in July falls right around my birthday. It's always the middle of the month. My birthday's the middle of the month. And 6 years back, I thought, well, I want to have a bigger Southern Fried Sunday and celebrate my birthday, but I'd feel like a real a-hole asking people to come out and pay a cover to come to my birthday party.
Right.
So why don't we make it a bigger event and do something for a charity? And I started thinking about what charities I wanted to support with the event, and we were still in Maitland at the Copper Rocket at the time, and the Mustard Seed of Central Florida is right down the street, and I started looking into what they did and was really impressed with them. They help people who have become homeless due to no fault of their own, so maybe they've fallen ill and fallen behind on their bills and then lost their home, or there's been a tragedy, an accident or something, a death in the family or something, or maybe there was a fire or flood or a tornado, or they lost their home to no fault of their own.
Yeah, some act of God or tragedy.
Yeah, so then they find themselves in shelter living and moving out of the shelter into their new apartment or their new home. Well, that's great, but what happens next? They don't have any furniture or any of the things they need to operate in a new home. And I've literally seen that happen to friends of mine. And I saw what they went through. And so a service like Mustard Seed, where you can show up with a truck and leave with everything you need for your new space,
right.
Beds,
it's like the
couch,
whole
television,
skull and bones
everything
of existence,
like your
down
dishes
to forks.
and
yeah,
everything. You don't realize how much you appreciate your frying pan until you don't have it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that organization, and they help people that are referred to them that are truly in need and that live in the Orange, Seminole, Volusia, Osceola counties. Like the surrounding counties are neighborhoods, so our community. So I wanted to do something every year to support them, and so we make the July Southern Fried Sunday a bigger event to raise some money and raise some awareness for what they do. So this year I'm really happy that I teamed up with my birthday twin, Miss Mecca, Mechanism. Is her band. She's been in Orlando forever. We've been friends for many years, and she's a force to be reckoned with on her own. And we always joke that our birthdays fall on the same day. Well, this year we're actually going to celebrate them together, and we're doing this event together. She works over at St. Matthew's Tavern, and they're going to have 5 bands performing on their patio beer garden, or as we've dubbed it, the band garden stage. And that'll be the first time that they have a big live music show like this.
Oh, cool.
And then we'll have 2 stages at Will's Pub, one outdoors in the parking lot just to the right of Will's Pub, and one obviously inside Will's Pub. And then we'll have some music later in the evening at the Peacock Room. All in all, it's 23 acts, including a DJ. And we're really spanning all different genres of music and loads of talent in Orlando. There's everything from country to jazz to funk to folk to alt country to grunge punk pop, if I could call it that, to experimental indie folk with like synthesizers. They're really cool. To like pop, to ska, to reggae, to metal, to rock.
It's a great representation of
Orlando.
Bands.
Yes.
I mean, it's
really
like a cross section, it sounds like.
It's a few of like the stalwart bands in town that have been around for a long time, like the Octomatics. or Ricky Dickens and the Revival. And then some of the bands that may not be as old as far as like they haven't been around for many years, but they've got members from different bands that have been. Mm-hmm. So that's like Paddington Ambush, or we're having the Chris Charles Quartet. Chris Charles is the saxophone player for the Sam Rivers band.
Right. Okay, wow.
And he played for years with Sam Rivers, and he's got a new female vocalist doing some jazz standards with him. Wow. Her name is Anna Elise, and she's amazing. And then we've got, Mechanism. Her band has been around for a long time. But then we've got newcomers kind of on the scene, Adam and the Plastic, and they're kind of like indie 90s grunge pop punk feel. Yeah. And the Strange Trip. They're sort of new on the scene, but people have really been loving their like ska, rock, surf rock sound, and Bellows. They've got this great experimental sound. Good Graph. They're actually one of the 2 out-of-town bands. They're from Sarasota, and they're 2 twin sisters. And they play, one plays a cello and the other plays guitar and sings, and they've got bass and drums, and they've got this really kind of crazy gothic pop rock sound. They're really fantastic. And then Justin Beckler, who's an incredible producer, who's produced so many musicians in town, so many artists and bands in the last few years. He's produced their albums. I want to say he's done at least 15 albums in the last year and a half, 2 years.
Wow.
Most people would know him from playing with Thomas Wynn and the Believers, but now he mainly just works producing bands, but he's going to do a rare set of his original material, so
that's awesome.
Excited for that.
So now if people want to go check this out at Southern Fried Sunday. It's a 3-venue event. And they're all relatively within walking distance of each other.
2 blocks away from each other.
Yeah, a couple blocks. And so you got Will's, St. Matthew's Tavern, and Peacock Room later in the night. Mm-hmm. $10. Everything, proceeds go over to Mustard Seed.
Yep.
That's unbelievable.
All the proceeds go to Mustard Seed.
That's an unbelievable bargain.
And we're going to have some art vendors over at St. Matthew's Tavern. We're going to have an interactive art. We are actually having Frankie Messina from Apartment E. He's doing Orlando art on a roll. He has a big roll of canvas that he's stretching from St. Matthew's Tavern to Will's Pub down the 2-block radius. And you can either walk along and see people creating, or you can jump in and paint, or do some sort of drawing, or do whatever you want to do along that 2-block radius.
That's awesome. That's pretty
live
unique.
art.
Get some footage of that. And now we can share. We're the JB Web Show is going to do a little live broadcasting from there.
Yay.
We're going to broadcast a couple of the bands, probably about 6 to 8, and get some interviews with people and things like that. So. So we are speaking with the one and only Jessica Pawli. She's here at the Milk Bar. We just shared a bunch of great information with you, and I got to learn more about a very valuable part of Orlando here. Thank you so much again for everything you've done.
Thank you, JB.
Hey, my pleasure, man.
And if people want more information on the 20th, go to the Will's Pub website, willspub.org.
Okay, cool. Go to willspub.org. We'll see you at Southern Fried Sunday. Thanks for hanging with us.
See you there.
Jessica, great to see you again. Yeah, good luck with everything, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, JB.
WJBW.